And what is up, everybody? Back in the chair once again. It is me, Chris Akin, along with my good friend Erik Ferentinos, and this, of course, is Chris Akin Presents. Erik, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Chris. How are you doing, my man?
Busy, man. As I was telling you right before, this was the busiest transition I have had since I started doing double duty on the Mondays, man. It's, I did the Seth show at 4 to 6 Eastern, and as soon as I finished, the phone just started exploding. I had text from you that I hadn't sent you the link, so you couldn't connect. I had that from you, and then you had sent me some content, and I needed to prep the content. Then Seth was texting me about a couple of things that we're working on. Then Dave Landau was texting me about some stuff that he needed for the debut of his show tomorrow on the Blaze TV with the Glenn Beck thing, the Blaze TV.
Right.
He's got his show Normal World that debuts tomorrow. So he's like, I need this fix, I need that fix. So I finished Seth's show at 6 o'clock, and I have been nonstop working. How long ago did I come in on this thing? 3 minutes ago?
Pretty much.
Just didn't have time for anything. But that does not matter because we have a great show here tonight. Now I'm going to settle into this show for the next 2 hours. And we have a great 2 hours of show to bring you. We have two bands that are coming on tonight. One of them is called Bad Marriage. They are going out on tour with Enough's Enough and the Choir Boys, and I believe you are familiar with them, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
And I dig Enough's Enough. This could be a fun tour for these guys. I'm excited that they got on it.
I'm always curious with these kind of tours, though. Do these bands? I don't think they realize how rare these are now because, in the old days, all of the bands that are out there playing every weekend would be playing. Even like you guys, like Stephen Piercy Band. 20 years ago, Stephen would be on tour. He wouldn't be doing flyouts every weekend. He would be, traveling the country for 6 months or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But with most of the bands of that era now doing just fly-ins, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whatever you guys end up doing, there's not really a lot of tours for new bands to get on, is there?
No, there is not. Not in the rock category, but it does seem like most bands are going to be out as far as the 80s and 90s bands all seem to have tours coming up this summer. Now that we're at the 3-year mark,
right?
Since the shutdowns, everybody's ready to get back at it full swing, which is cool.
Is it going to be hard to get some of these guys out of the routine of weekend flies, do you think? And I'm not saying Steven, I'm just saying in general, a lot of these guys.
Well, I think we love to play every night on the road. Nights off suck.
Right.
There's not much to do. And that's about that. I'm sure they want to play. The question would be, are the local people going to come out during the week?
Yeah. That's a whole nother issue as well. Are people ready to give up being home? Are you ready to put your Netflix down? Are you ready to go back out to living your life outside again?
And how much are tickets for this tour generally going to be? I don't even know if we know that or if they've gone on sale yet.
Yeah, well, we can ask when Fitz comes on. We can ask
if they could keep it under $40 or $50 a ticket.
See, I even think that's high. Don't you think that's high?
Well, by today's standards, probably not.
Yeah, I guess. But if I'm going to a club and I'm going to assume that this show is not doing the casino circuit, it's doing a step down from that. You think that's fair?
I don't want to say a step down. I don't know what they're playing. I don't even want to guess.
Yeah, I'm thinking it is not casinos. That's all I'm thinking. It's not 2,500 to 3,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
No way. And if it's 500 people or less, $50 seems like a lot. And I love these bands. Don't get me wrong. I love these bands. So I'm not trying to shit on Chip or Enough's Enough or the Choir Boys. It's 7 o'clock is one of my all-time favorite tunes. So
right. All great bands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think they're worth $100. You know what I mean? But it's like, what are people going to pay right now in a bad economy?
Yeah. Well, that's
to go to a show. I know that there's a certain amount they're going to have to charge just because the package itself costs a certain amount, and they got to cover the cost, the promoter, the venue. So it all ties together. How many seats does it even hold?
Yeah.
What's the situation with that place? Do they own the bar there? Like they can afford to paper it and get, pack a bigger venue because they're getting alcohol.
Yeah. I mean,
sales.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's definitely, it's not as simple as people think with, band's coming out. Hey, well, everybody thinks that the band makes the door somehow. It's like, if the band shows up, then they get everything that comes in the door. That's what everybody thinks. And that could not be further from the truth ever.
Right.
I
know these bands have all probably done shows like that at some point where they're just like going to play for the door and roll the dice and see what happens, and a lot of times it does work out for them. We've never done that in the Piercy band. There's always a guarantee involved just to get us out and make sure that things are going to happen.
Well, you've done it personally, haven't you?
The only time I remember doing anything like that was in Bow Wow Wow. There was like an add-on show that we did that was and it ended up working out really good.
Okay.
For us because the place was packed and it ended up being good. So it worked out on that one. I mean, would I want to do a whole tour rolling the dice like that? No.
Right. Certainly not. All right. I just looked up the Enough's Enough tour real quick. I looked up one venue, and this is a reasonable tour. This is definitely worth going to. It's I looked up at the Vault Music Hall and Pub in New Bedford, Massachusetts. Do you know that venue?
Oh yeah, I'm glad it's still there. It's still there then.
Big venue, small venue, middle. What is it?
It was I would call it a middle venue. It was actually a great, very nostalgic venue there, historic, if you will. But I had thought we had played one of the last shows there last year, and that it was gonna close down. So I don't know if it just changed ownership or what, but it's good to hear that place is still happening. Yeah, Purchase Street Records is an awesome shop right next to there.
Okay. That's cool.
That people can check out, like an online, collectible shop, rock shop.
So if you're guessing number of people that could play that venue, what would you say, 1,000, or would see a show at that venue?
Oh, I don't think it holds that many.
500?
Yeah, like maybe 600 or something.
500 or 600?
Yeah.
All right. Tickets it's general admission, $23.
Oh my goodness. Come on.
That's if you live near there, you should go to that.
Absolutely.
$23?
Absolutely.
That's cheaper than you and your chick going to the movies.
And I've seen Chips Enough's Enough, and they throw down
it's
live.
good.
It's great. I had a great time.
It's actually heavier. It's heavier than the Donnie version.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen the Donnie version a zillion times, and I've seen the Chip version now 3 or 4 times. Not a ton, but I've seen it. I've seen it enough to know what he does. He does like the more metal version of Enough's Enough. I mean, he still does the Fly High Michelle and stuff like that, but for $23 for 3 bands, $7 a band.
Oh, that's an amazing deal.
That's a good deal. And if you want to go early, this is the highest end ticket price they have. And these are general admission, $23. So legitimately, for $23, you could be up front.
Well, let's just get people thinking to spend at least $50 so they can go home with a T-shirt from one of these guys.
Go home with a T-shirt. Let's get them spending $100 and get some beers too. Feed the
bad
bar
marriage.
So it
You need a
stays
bad
open.
marriage T-shirt, man.
Yeah, exactly. You do. But even if you wanted to get in early, they have some kind of you can get in early type of deal because they have tables. They have tables at this place, I guess.
Right. There's food. There's a restaurant that's a part of it, I think. Yeah.
If you want early admission, which gives you 1 hour before doors, and it guarantees you a high top table seating availability.
Swanky.
$38.
What?
Still worth. That's
worthy. A great date night.
That's
Hello,
a good
anybody
night.
Listening?
Yeah. The only problem with this show, the only problem I see with this particular show, it's a Monday night.
Right. Can they start the concert after our show ends?
Yeah. Well, no, yeah. But then you miss Bad Marriage.
Right. No.
Don't want to do that. You can skip us for one night. We're on demand after.
So now the show that you're talking about at the Vault is on a Monday night.
It is. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Shit, I'm spilling.
Are they coming to your town?
I don't know. I literally just clicked on the first one that was
the first on sale tickets.
Just because I wanted to see what the ticket price was, but $38 for the highest end ticket you can get here.
Yeah.
And really, now I'm thinking about it, this isn't bad for a Monday night considering it's July 3rd. So you're off Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. So it's almost like it's a Friday night. It's the same as a Friday night.
Right.
Because you're off the next day.
We're gonna be flying back. I'm gonna be flying back on the 4th of July.
Oh boy, that should be fun.
It's not going to be fun. And part of the problem is because I live right at the beach down here, they typically will shut down the street to get in.
Okay.
Because they have either like bike rides going
Right.
on or some kind of event. Obviously they're doing some kind of 4th of July event. So they actually close the streets and I have to like beg cops to like let me through. And I mean, they can't not let me in as I think about it. You know what I mean? It's like I live there. They're literally closing the street down here from like 9 a.m. to midnight.
Yeah, but the problem, but you'll be lugging your guitars and everything else.
Yeah, I can't. I have a heart condition. I can't do that. I mean, the closest place I could think to park is there's a lot by the Harbor Beach, but it's pretty far, man. That's like a mile away. I'm definitely going to try to nicely ask them to let me through because I'm going to be getting back probably around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, right in the middle of all their stuff. Somebody blew something up the other night that I really do hate that, not to be like an old guy complaining, but I don't know if it's out of towners or local hooligans, but people in the upcoming days of 4th of July come down to the beach here and blow up some pretty big munitions.
What, like M80s or something?
It's beyond that. And it might even be Marines doing it. I don't know. But the thing they exploded the other night, I was in bed with one of my cats and just about to fall asleep. And then all of a sudden, kapow! It was like a terrorist attack. Like all of a sudden, all these horns are honking and stuff.
Holy shit.
Yeah, the cat just took off. I was like, whoa. I couldn't even get to bed after that for like, an hour. It had my adrenaline had just kicked in. This thing had blown up, 100 feet from my window that happened to be open. But this was at like 11 o'clock at night. This stuff starts to happen as 4th of July rolls in. And it sucks for pets. It sucks for anybody with PTSD, veterans and stuff.
Hey, I'm not a big fan. I'm over it now, but don't forget I'm an explosion survivor, not just a burn survivor.
Right.
So believe me, July 4th has not been my friend for a lot of years. It just, and I spent a good 10 years before I could actually watch fireworks again. Mm-hmm. I spent a good 10 years where every time it got to be 8, 9 o'clock at night on July 4th, it was like headphones on, fucking Megadeth turned up to as far as I could get it. So I'd be getting nothing but just in my ears instead of shit blowing up. But I've gotten over it to an extent. But I'm with you. I fucking hate when neighbors are just throwing them in the streets and stuff.
Right. If it was just ladyfingers and bottle rockets, I mean, that wouldn't be nearly as big a deal. M80 is the biggest thing I think we ever used to blow up as kids.
Yeah. And I know when I was a kid, we used to throw M80s in people's mailboxes and blow up their mailboxes. But, I mean, because it will blow a mailbox. It'll blow a mailbox up like a terrorist on a bus. It's just like,
and that's likely who's doing this. You know what I mean?
Is.
I would imagine it's young people on foot. It's not probably some older people doing that.
I don't know. In my neighborhood, it's definitely older people.
Is it?
It's definitely
Gen Xers? Is it like Gen Xers out there?
It's definitely people that are like my age.
Okay.
And they're out in their fucking yard. And again, like you said, I would be fine with it. Wouldn't have a problem if they're shooting bottle rockets or Roman candles or even actual fireworks.
Right.
The shit that goes up in the air and, because they sell that here. I mean, I don't know if it's legal to.
No, it's so illegal to have any of that here.
Well, there it is.
California,
but I think,
Southern California is like typically so dry that, I mean, it could totally start a fire or ignite our complex on fire for that
Right.
matter, if
I
it
think
landed in the
it's-
wrong place.
I think it's legal here, because I know right down the road from me. It can't be 15 minutes down the street from me is like this huge fireworks place where you can
Right.
buy fireworks. So I'm
Yeah.
assuming it's legal. I could be wrong, and they might just sell, but you're not supposed to use in state. I don't know.
There's county rules maybe between
Yeah,
county
maybe.
lines. Florida and South Carolina and places like that are where you go the most nuts
Yeah.
with fireworks shops. There's like a fireworks shop every exit
Yeah.
when you're down there, and we used to have fun doing that stuff. I think I mentioned before having bottle rocket fights with Scott Coogan, doing a tour with him when we got there. And I had them all lined up on the second floor of my hotel,
Right.
my motel room out there. And it was like during bike week. So it was just going off anyway. There's motorcycles and everything just seemed nuts. It was so fun. But I saw them coming up and I had like 5 of them and I lit them all up at the same time. And they're like, and he was shooting them back at it. And then the manager came out. He's like, stop shooting up the goddamn fireworks. And I'm like, wait, it wasn't me. But the smoke comes out from the area. So you could totally see where it was. It was right in front of my fucking room. I was too stupid to move down to another room. But yeah, I didn't get like, arrested for it or anything. Just told him to stop.
When we were kids, we used to spend pretty much every midsummer to the end of summer at my grandparents' place in Rhode Island, up in right outside of Providence, Rhode Island, and maybe 30 minutes from Boston. So it's a real conservative place, like all older people, all conservative. It was kind of upscale. My grandparents had money, and so it's a real nice neighborhood, right? And us and then the next door neighbor kids that were all our age, and we would only see them once a year for when we were visiting. Every year we would collect up like 5 or 6 beer bottles, and we would have bottle rocket wars where we'd all be running, but we'd be running around like they were fucking guns, and we'd be running around with a lighter and bottle rocket. We'd stick it in the bottle so that you could hold the bottle and just aim it. You'd see them hiding in a tree or something. You'd be like, and again, no thought at all that, I'm shooting a bottle rocket into a tree. No thought at all that I might catch the woods on fire or something. Absolutely not. It's like, oh, there's Toby.
It's wet enough though, Ohio. You guys, it snows.
Well, this is Rhode Island though.
Oh, Rhode Island. Oh my God, it rains so much there.
Yeah, so we never caught nothing on fire, but
nah, that's not going to happen there.
But yeah, we were stupid with fireworks back then. Did you ever know anybody blew a finger off or anything?
I did a funny story. This one older dude, when I used to sling a little smoke back in the day, used to come. He was like a friend of a friend who started coming by, and I was always thought he was a cop. He had like cop vibes about him, or there was something about him I just couldn't put my finger on. But he was like probably in his early 60s maybe, but he always was wearing a suit. He said he was in real estate or something.
Okay.
But I noticed on his right hand he was missing a finger.
Oh, missing a finger.
But me and I overthink things too much, and I was thinking, oh, this is probably a mafia thing, or like they're getting tortured, and somebody like takes a finger. Like in my mind, I'm watching too many movies,
right?
And I think I mean, he was coming by for a couple of years before I gathered up the courage to ask about his hand, or something had come up. Maybe it was around 4th of July or something. I was like, oh, what did happen? He was like, yeah, I was a kid. Yeah. Firework went off in my hand. That was it.
Yeah. That's, I actually saw a kid blow 2 of his fingers off with firecracker. We saw it happen. Yeah.
Oh,
we were outside. And like I said, we used to play with the firecrackers on July 4th. And we were outside, and this one dummy, he was a kid that lived up the street. I don't remember his name to save my life. I'm trying to remember his name because I would say it because he was so stupid. He deserves the credit for being so dumb. We were throwing, what is the smaller than the M80? The M40?
Sounds.
It looks the same, but it's just smaller. It's not the big, thick, it's not the size of a battery. It's like half the size.
Right.
I think it might be an M40 or a 40 something, whatever it is, doesn't matter. we were throwing those, and they were booming in the street. I mean, they were boom blowing up, right? This fucking dumb kid, he lights it and he drops it. And instead of running from it like any smart person would do, he tries to pick it up. And I just remember my grandfather just ran over and grabbed him by his head and yanked him. Just yanked, but he was still too close to it when the thing blew up, and it blew off the bottom parts of two of his fingers, right off his fucking hand. And I just remember going, damn! And the worst part was I said damn, and then my mom, didn't matter, this kid just blew his hand off. My mom was yelling at me for swearing.
Chris.
Yeah, exactly.
Watch your mouth.
Yeah. Meanwhile, this kid just got his hand half blown off.
Oh. And there was no finding the tips. It was just meat.
It was just
dangling meat.
It was just, I'm going to be honest. If I remember correctly, because this all happened really, really fast.
Right.
I think when my mom or dad, who were outside as well, realized what happened, they shuffled me and my brother into the house quick. Because they were smart enough to know that somebody was going to get the blame for this.
Right.
And they got us the hell out of there. So
yeah, we don't need those pesky police asking our boys any questions.
Yeah, so they quickly shuffled us into the house.
Smart.
But I don't remember. I just remember seeing him like 2 or 3 days later, and his hand was wrapped up like a football player, big old bandage that covered everything. And he told I never actually saw like what was left of it.
Mm-hmm. It was always bandaged while you saw it.
Yeah, I was only there for a couple of weeks, so it was always bandaged. And then the next summer when we went back, he didn't live there anymore. And I'm not saying that one's related to the other. I'm just saying that he didn't live in that neighborhood anymore. So we never. So I'm sure somewhere out there's a guy writing with 2 fingers because he blew off the rest of his hand. But
I had a friend at junior high school that only had 3 fingers.
Really?
Yeah.
Like he's born that way?
Mm-hmm. It was a birth defect. And
really?
we played like not Dungeons and Dragons, but it was a similar game, but it was called Top Secret, and we were nerds. But they would make fun of him. People called him Tri-Paw. Like a P-A-W.
Right, Tri-Paw.
Tri-Paw. Hey, Tri-Paw.
Wow.
They were dicks. I didn't, I was actually, didn't care about that sort of thing.
Was he cool with it, or was he mad about it?
I'm sure it bummed him out, man. We were 12 at the time, or 13. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sure it got worse for him later, but I don't know. Maybe he joined some fetish club later on in life, and some girl's like, "Hey, I know what you can do with that tripod." Anyway. Yeah.
I don't like more than 3 fingers up in me anyhow.
There's some weirdos out there that are like, "Hey, can you come party with us, tripod?" Right.
That's hilarious, dude. Oh man. Well, dude, we do have a big show tonight, or we have, like we said earlier, we have Bad Marriage coming on, who's going to be on tour with Enough's Enough and the Choir Boys, and coming up here in 7-8 minutes, as soon as they pop in, we are going to have Vixen's Janet Gardner and her husband, why am I blanking on his name? Justin James will be joining us to talk about,
or JJ as his friends call him.
I don't know why I blanked on his name. I've been saying it all day to people that have asked me, and I got it right. And as soon as I get in front of a camera, it's like, and the other guy, it's like,
you would think you smoked all the bowls before the show.
Yeah, I wish I did. Oh, I could use a joint right now, but they will be on to talk about No Strings, their new release, which is actually pretty fucking rocking. All right.
Are we going to hear some of that tonight while they're on?
Yeah, we will hear some of that.
Okay, good.
But we have 5 minutes. Let's talk about this.
All right. Oh, see, there you go.
There it is.
Nita Strauss, right? Chris, tell them what happened.
Erik and I were ready. We were here. We were ready. We
look at this backdrop. I even kept this is like Step Brothers. Hello? Hello?
We were ready for Nita.
Alice can help
And-
with the Pam Pam dilemma.
That's right. but then it got to be 12:35. No Nita. 12:37. No Nita. I'm texting the publicist. What the fuck? Where's Nita? No answer for a minute. Then I get the answer at like 12:45. Something came up.
Oh, which I took a little offense to because I laughed to Chris. I go, that's the most generic,
Yeah.
like, blow off in the history of my whole life. I remember that being the thing girls would always say since like the 70s.
Yeah. Something came up.
Something came up.
So, we are going to have Nita at some point on the show here. I emailed the publicist today, and she said that they were off for Juneteenth, but they'll be back tomorrow to get it scheduled.
Okay. Well, hey, and you know what I was thinking?
Yes.
You know, she plays for the legendary
Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper, so she gets a pass just based on that. He has vouched. Alice vouched for her. She's a good woman. He took her back into his band
Exactly.
after the Demi Lovato thing. I mean,
Well, the
obviously,
Demi Lovato thing is still going on, though.
It is. Is it? I didn't know.
Because she played Friday night before our interview that was scheduled with Demi Lovato.
Really?
Yeah. So maybe she got
Interesting.
tied up in that. I don't know.
I know she's out with her band.
She's out with her band, but she's busy. She's
busy. And I thought about that. I go, hey, she's on the road. You try your best. I thought it was a little. I don't know what time zone she's in. For me, it was early. I had to get up.
She's over here. She's in
Okay.
like New York or somewhere.
So
but
that would have been around hotel checkout time.
yeah, it's fine. Look, I'm not mad. I'm not mad about it or nothing, but it did kind of suck that we promoted it like crazy for 2 weeks and.
Or just, well, not to get a call to
Yeah.
we're like, hey, everybody, Purdue, any minute now.
That's right. I'll tell you what, we're not going to have to worry about that with Justin James and Janet Gardner because they are here and they are on time. And we will get with them next. Like I said, they have a new release called No Strings. I hate not calling these things albums now, but I guess we're not supposed to. But we will talk all about No Strings, and we will talk all about everything that they are doing right after we hear a little bit of music from No Strings. So check it out. We're gonna play a little piece of the song 85, and then we will be back with Janet Gardner and Justin James right here on Chris Akin Presents.